Appeasement equals death. Let me say it again. Appeasement equals death. Not just appeasement, complacency. The highest levels of both those things that have led us to the moment we find ourselves in today. An ISIS attack in Syria. A gunman in Rhode Island at Brown University. A father and son terrorist group shooting attack in Bondi Beach in Australia as Jews celebrate Hanukkah. We not fully see it yet, but there's a red, let's call it a blue thread that weaves itself through all of those. And what's been created is some new species of human, zero empathy, fueled by propaganda, by an agenda, all of it pure evil. These are created, exalted, and coddled by the leftist mentality, extremist ideologies that glorify violence and hatred. To be clear, these acts are not isolated incidents. They're not random violence. They're the predictable outcome of Western governments' refusal to confront and dismantle radical movements. Movements allowed to operate with full enthusiasm from our government under the guise of tolerance, under the policy of appeasement. A lack of enforcement and ideological blind spots have enabled extremists to radicalize, organize, and kill us right here in the United States on our soil. There's a common thread here. And until we face it and try to understand it, we will sink further beneath it. They're so lost, drowning under the policies they created and the results of those policies that all they can do is deflect. And I know you'll see the common pattern I'm referring to when you hear this from the left-wing Prime Minister of Australia about those attacks in Australia that took place 24 hours ago.
We take ASIO's advice very seriously. We work closely with them. We receive regular updates as well. The Director General of ASIO has warned about a range of threats, be it anti-Semitism, the rise of right-wing extremist groups as well. And we continue to work closely with our security agencies.
So, in case you were confused, the left-wing mantra of never let a good crisis go to waste is also used by the left wing in the land down under. Never forget to go after guns.
The government is prepared to take whatever action is necessary. Included in that is the need for tougher gun laws.
Maybe those gun laws will work if you write them in Arabic. I don't know, just saying. I'm old enough to remember when Australia decided on a zero policy on guns in 2023, and I'm also old enough to remember when VP Kamala Harris praised the new measures when they were rolled out just a couple of months later.
Gun violence has terrorized and traumatized so many of our communities in this country. And let us be clear, it does not have to be this way, as our friends in Australia have demonstrated.
Indeed, it is the case that we look every time there is one of these events and are grateful that Australia did act in a bipartisan way.
Yeah, well, how did that work out on Sunday? Yeah, sure, come after the guns and not the real actual problem, as if Ilhan Omar doesn't have corrupt Somalis to defend or an America to hate or a brother to divorce. She makes sure to capitalize on this moment, too.
It is a tragedy that this has become a normal occurrence. Not just in the United States, but now seeing it in Australia, who's worked really hard to create gun prevention laws to prevent the kind of tragedy that took place today.
Got it. Guns are the problem, says Ilhan Omar, and never forget to casually mention right-wing extremist groups, even when it doesn't even apply at all whatsoever. And we all know what that's about, don't we? It sounds familiar, right?
And we won't ignore what our intelligence agencies have determined to be the most lethal terrorist threat to the homeland today. White supremacy is terrorism.
I'm going to say this just to get it out of the way. There's no doubt about it. We're in a strange time right now where killing seems to be the last and only resort for certain groups of people to get their points across. We've seen it with Luigi Mangione, the assassination of Charlie Kirk. We're dealing with an entirely different beast right now. But here's the part the left refuses to believe and understand, and more importantly, admit. They created it. Defending criminals, defending illegals, marching in support of terrorists. And why are we so afraid to call them out for it? It's a losing battle when we're forced to look at the wrong thing and the left is so afraid to look at it because they're obsessed with pandering for no reason at all. We're importing terrorism. We're importing hate and evil. They don't want to say it, but I will. And they will foster it on our own soil. Homegrown terrorism right here after they bring them in. In just 24 hours, we saw 3 Americans killed in Syria by Muslims, at least 19 people murdered in Sydney, Australia by Muslims. We saw 5 Muslims arrested for plotting an attack on a German Christmas market. Paris canceled their Christmas and New Year celebrations this year because of Muslim terror threats. Multiculturalism is so great, France had to cancel their New Year's Eve celebration. Think about it. Why aren't we allowed to talk about it? It's the truth. Why is everyone so afraid to talk about it? The left created this moment by fostering this mentality, by somehow justifying the existence of this kind of evil and placing the blame on the right just to incite even more violence. Like Chuck Schumer, who'll be sure to deflect and blame the wrong people for the violence his party helped to perpetuate. But first, an important message.
And of course, I'm going to say a few words about the terrible shooting in Sydney, Australia. Okay? So, and first, of course, as I always say, no matter what, go Bills. They beat the Patriots today. It's a big deal.
19 people dead so far. But first, my football team won. Isn't that great, Chuck Schumer? That's what we're dealing with. How many of these incidents need to happen around the world for the left to admit the truth? Australia disarmed its citizens in 1996, imported 600,000 Muslims since then, including from 4 countries considered major sources of terrorism. That's what Democrats want for our country. Weren't we told that Australia's strict gun laws eliminated mass shootings from ever happening? Weren't we told that there were only upsides to mass migration from countries that have nothing to do with our countries? Weren't we told that everyone on earth shares the same values? Well, that was all a lie. Appeasement equals death. That's a fact we need to admit before it's too late. We'll be back. 2.5 minutes.